Imagine waking up to the news that Europe is on the brink of war. Not just any war, but a full-scale confrontation between Russia and NATO. Sounds unreal? Think again. At the Munich Security Conference, Ukrainian President Zelensky issued a stark warning. Russia could launch a new offensive, this time targeting European NATO members as early as next summer. Intelligence reports suggest Moscow is actively preparing military movements, strategic deployments, growing tensions. Yet many still doubt that Putin would take such a risk. But should they? In this video, we break down why another Russian offensive is increasingly likely, what's driving Putin's next move, and what it all means for Europe's future. Buckle up, because this could change the way you see global security forever. Chapter 1. The Munich Warning, a glimpse into the future? During his speech at the Munich Security Conference, Zelensky warned that Russia is planning to move troops into Belarus under the pretext of military exercises. Sounds familiar? That's because this is the exact same tactic Putin used before launching the invasion of Ukraine in 2022. Now let's be clear. Zelensky didn't explicitly say that Ukraine would be the next target, but he made one thing very clear. Another Russian offensive is inevitable, and this time Poland and the Baltic states could be on Putin's radar. It's not just Ukraine sounding the alarm. Intelligence reports from Latvia indicate that Moscow is actively bolstering its military to confront European NATO members. Meanwhile, Germany's top security officials have warned that Russia could be preparing for an attack against European NATO members by the end of the decade. And if that wasn't alarming enough, Danish defense analysts predict that if the war in Ukraine ends soon, Russia could wage a regional war within just 2 years. So at this point, we need to ask, is this just Cold War paranoia? Or is there a real risk that Putin could push the boundaries further? Let's look at 3 reasons why experts believe another Russian attack is not only possible, but increasingly likely. Chapter 2. Why Putin might strike again. A peace deal that works for Russia. Negotiations are underway. US President Donald Trump recently announced his intention to engage in direct talks with Putin. But here's the catch. There's growing concern that Trump might force Ukraine into an unfavorable deal, one that weakens its position and emboldens Russia. Rumors suggest that the US may already be making concessions, including dismissing Ukraine's NATO ambitions and even allowing Russia to retain control over occupied territories. If a deal like this goes through, it could send a dangerous message: aggression works. And if Putin sees a diplomatic victory as a sign of weakness in the West, he might decide to push his luck further. Russia's hybrid warfare is escalating. War isn't just fought on the battlefield anymore. Russia has ramped up its cyberattacks, espionage, and sabotage missions across Europe. Just last year, European agencies documented 44 Russian hybrid warfare incidents, more than triple the number from 2023. This isn't just random mischief. It's a calculated strategy to test European NATO members' defenses, weaken public trust, and destabilize key infrastructure. Latvian intelligence agencies believe that these attacks are laying the groundwork for a larger conflict. And if European NATO members don't respond decisively, Russia may view this as an invitation to escalate further. Chapter 3. Why Putin might think twice Russia's military struggles. Despite making some territorial gains, Russia's war in Ukraine has been slow and costly. Even with a larger army, their progress has been grueling. If Russia is struggling to take full control of eastern Ukraine, opening another front would stretch their forces dangerously thin. Economic instability. Russia's economy is under enormous strain. Inflation skyrocketed to 10% this February, despite aggressive interest rate hikes. The ruble's value has plummeted, and sanctions continue to restrict Russia's access to critical resources. Another war could worsen these economic issues, potentially leading to domestic instability, something Putin would want to avoid at all costs. A looming demographic crisis. War takes a toll on manpower. Russia is already struggling with a declining birth rate and an aging population. The war in Ukraine has only made this problem worse, as thousands of young men have either been killed or fled the country to avoid conscription. Another large-scale war could further deplete Russia's workforce, making long-term economic recovery even harder. Conclusion. So, where does that leave us? On one hand, Russia has plenty of reasons to escalate, whether it's securing a better peace deal, testing European NATO's resolve, or leveraging hybrid warfare to weaken the West. On the other hand, economic turmoil and military struggles could make another war a reckless gamble. But here's the real question. Is Putin a rational actor? For years, world leaders assumed that Putin would act within certain limits. Then 2022 happened. The invasion of Ukraine shattered those assumptions. So as we move further into 2025, the world must be prepared for any possibility. What do you think? Will Russia make its next move against European NATO members, or will it hold back? Let's discuss in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth analysis on global affairs.